All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to talk to you about situation that is absolutely shocking, mind-boggling, but yet completely predictable at the same time. Critics of Gervonta Tank Davis for his incident that took place with his girlfriend are now completely silent. And not just silent, heartfelt and feel sorry for Dana White, who did exactly what Gervonta Davis was accused of, but did it on camera. You know the saying, God don't like ugly. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to be in the 135-pound division and the MMA at the same time, where right on the heels of Gervonta Davis getting a whole bunch of slack from people in the media over an incident that took place with his girlfriend and mother of his child, are now miraculously getting a sense of fairness in what's going on when it comes to somebody that looks distinctly different from Gervonta Davis, and it is disgusting. Now, before I get into the subject matter of the video, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. To everybody that supports the channel in any and all kind of ways, whether that be the super chat, the cash app, or the super thanks in videos like this, or hitting the thumbs up and sharing the video. Thank you for continuing to let the channel go. All right, so I'm going to take this format for this video. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to tell you, then I'm going to tell you what I told you. All right, the media are some real wild boys and are 100% okay with jumping up on a soapbox and preaching about what a young man like Gervonta Davis should do, what should happen to him because he, not mistakes that he made, but because of his reckless behavior. But when put on camera with their own peers, have nothing to say about Dana White, who is on camera pretty much in the same time frame, literally doing what Gervonta Davis was never accused of doing, and have not just nothing to say. Because if it was nothing to say, I would be like, okay, you didn't say anything, you acting like you don't know what happened. But when Kevin Iole of Yahoo Sports, who writes on boxing, actually comes out and says something that tries to make you feel sorry for Dana White, man, like I say, it's nice to have Dana's last name and be what Dana's last name is. But let's go through this, okay? So Dana White, I'm not sure what his position is with the UFC, but runs the UFC. Probably I'm not sure if he's the owner, of the UFC, a MMA promotional company, was in Mexico with his wife, and it's on videotape. Not going to show it, not going to describe it in great detail. However, Dana White gets into a physical altercation with his wife where she is crying, and I don't know what happened to make her sit there and cry, turns around, tries to grab her by the hand, and boop, it happens. And then he doesn't just stop. He literally returns it right back at her on tape, right? Now, compare that to Gervonta Davis and the tape on Gervonta Davis doing something to his wife from this weekend. Oops, it's not on tape. So you didn't see it. And on top of not seeing it, the wife comes back, his girlfriend, comes back and says, he never harmed me. He didn't do anything. We were both at fault for the argument that we have. Now, I'm a fan of some of these people, but honestly, man, got to throw y'all under the best bus for this. Lou DiBella, who is a promoter that I do respect, enjoy, think very bright guy, never have had a problem with Lou DiBella, comes out and says, we have got to do something about domestic violence in boxing, and then says something to the effect of, with a big picture of Gervonta Davis and an article that was written by in Sports Illustrated. But then comes Kevin Iole. Now, I don't necessarily, see, in the case of Lou DiBella said something about Gervonta Davis, did not say anything about Dana White that I know of at the time that I'm doing this video. However, Kevin Iole actually wrote an article, the boxing writer from Yahoo, wrote an article basically condemning Gervonta Davis and saying that this is not the first time that Gervonta Davis has been involved in these type of things and all of that stuff, right? But what does he say when it's time to talk about Dana White? He says he literally wonders out loud. Listen to the phrasing of this stuff. The question is the circumstance that led up to this. White is famous and he works and plays at a breakneck pace. Now, notice what he does. He's famous. That's something that's good. He works and plays at a breakneck pace. He's somebody we should admire. He's a hard worker and he plays hard, rarely leaving any downtime. Excuse me, Ro. Playing is downtime. Just to let you know. Plays at a breakneck pace, that is downtime. If you're playing, that's downtime. But whatever, you know what he's trying to do here. He says he's 53 years old now, not 32. So it seems fair to ask, why is he drunk in a public setting at a nightclub? He traveled the world so much so, done so much, and befriended so many. All of these positive things he keeps pouring, like sentence after sentence after sentence of things that he's pouring over this guy and speaking highly of this guy while telling you at the same time. Well, the question isn't, let's get inside the head of Dana White so we can understand where he's coming from. He's famous and there's stress with that. He's trying to, putting the UFC further into the mainstream. He's doing all these great things. What would make this man do it? Maybe he just needs to take a short vacation and just think about what he's doing now. That is a far cry from we need to put Gervonta Davis out of boxing because this man is a rampaging criminal, right? Completely different tone, right? Completely different tone. Now, for me, and I've said this before, there's people that would try to get me, right, to say, okay, you say that give Gervonta Davis a chance, or not a chance, wait till it plays out in court. Because that was my take on Gervonta Davis. Just wait until it plays out, right? And we'll see what happened and then what happens. He says he didn't do anything. His girlfriend says he doesn't do anything. More than likely, the charges are going to be dropped. He moves on and has his fight, right? Is there anybody out there writing articles saying, oh, we're missing on Gervonta Davis? Oops. No, it's a stare at you like, well, yeah, she said he didn't, but you know people like that, right? But Dana White, you can literally see him do it. Literally see that man do it. It's on tape, right? It's on tape. Well, since there's no doubt about whether he did it or not, let's not say, hey man, who's going to put this guy in jail? I don't see there's any mention of this man going to jail for what he did, right? Or how he's unsafe to be around in public. No, when it's somebody like that, Kevin Iole writes, he's traveled the world, seen so much, done so much, befriended so many. It's like he's the victim. It's like he's the victim of his own success. That's what happens. He's just the pressures of the world on a great man like Dana White. Can anybody make it? Now, I don't want to go into statistics and who out there are the people committing all of these things. And let me tell you, it's not 28-year-old boxers that are the #1 people doing this. It's people like Dana White. Okay, I'm not saying Dana White himself, but I'm saying it's people like Dana White. Okay, it's the men out there that are drinking. And this thing, he's 53 years old. Let me tell you, I'm 53 years old. Okay, if you're at a club and first of all, everybody goes to clubs. You don't have to be famous to go to a club. You go to a club, and if you're with your wife and you start drinking and your response to her pushing you is to get her, dog, you need to go to counseling because you are a violent person. Okay? I've drunk around my wife. I've been stressed. And my first reaction, if she was not to do that, right? But you know what the deal is. The real problems are the people that are easiest to target. It's easy to jump on your soapbox and talk about Gervonta Tank Davis because everybody's going to all your friends are going to applaud you for that. But when it's time to throw your friend up underneath that bus, then it's something else completely. Because why? Are you one of the people that have befriended so many? He's such a likable guy, but you're not going to hang out with Gervonta Davis, right? Because Gervonta Davis is not a likable guy to you. He's a little guy, and I assume he's not a likable guy to you. He's just basically some dude that got out of the ghetto by beating people up, and this is his nature, but not the leaders of industry. Even though if you track how these industries started, it's a whole lot of thuggery going on. But anyway, couldn't resist doing that. Had to let my voice out. I had to speak out on that one. Again, I wouldn't be one to be talking about what Dana White did. That's obvious what he did. So whatever he did, if he's in Mexico, if it's an issue, hey, man, go ahead and whatever happens to him, happens to him. If his wife divorces him, if his wife tries to take his money, that's between him and his wife. And it is a shame that he did. And at the very least, he needs some counseling to handle him and that response that he had to that lady. And again, people will say there's no excuses for doing this, but then make a bunch of excuses for Dana White. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.